Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP 16, the news station. Now, Nolan Johannes, Karen Harch, pilot Jack Rulin in Skycam 16, Chief Meteorologist Tom Clark, and Joe Zone on sports. This is Newswatch 16.
A Lackawanna County contractor for the U.S. Army says we stand by our product 100%. Yesterday, the Pentagon charged the Gentex Corporation of Simpson with making substandard Army helmets, over 400,000 of them. Washington says the new Kevlar helmets have an unacceptable weak spot at the top, even though they are superior to the old steel pot helmet they replaced. The Pentagon charges Gentex may have cut corners and that the Army didn't get what it paid for. Gentex does not make the helmet anymore, but does supply two other firms with the material to make the helmets. The Pentagon says there's no problem with those. The Simpson company denies all of the Pentagon charges. A Gentex official tells Newswatch 16 tonight they have a dispute with the government over how the helmet was made and that the product has passed all government tests. They add the government at one point was demanding repayment of $20 million for 461,000 helmets, but now has cut that down to only $500,000.
If you're a customer of Bell of Pennsylvania, you're going to pay more a month to use your telephone. Today, the Public Utility Commission okayed a rate hike for the phone company, but it's about 1/9 of what Bell originally wanted. Nevertheless, the average customer in our area who has unlimited service will pay 37 cents a month more to Bell of Pennsylvania. Any extras you may have will also cost you more, depending on what kind of phone service you have.
Schuylkill County is about to go for a ride on the roads. Newswatch 16's Bob Costantini reports on a unique way to get out-of-state industry to take a look at a local area.
An estimated 10 million people will look at the back of this one truck heading out of Pottsville in a year. Okay. The sign on the back says Schuylkill County works for us. Let us tell you how it can work for you. That's the message this truck will take around the country. Finelli Brothers Trucking in Pottsville is putting up 10 of these 3-by-3-foot signs. It's the start of an effort by the Greater Pottsville Industrial Development Corporation to promote the area as a good location for business. And at $20 a sign,
it's a fairly inexpensive way to reach directly into a market, that is the industrial market, throughout the country.
Finelli Brothers provides the space on each truck. Officials hope other local companies will do likewise.
We're in a depressed area, and what we're looking for is to increase our business, and if everybody else comes in, I think it'll benefit all of us.
Indeed, the Pottsville-Schuylkill County economy has suffered in recent years. The Industrial Development Corporation hopes to bring in more manufacturing jobs. Each sign has a phone number for companies to use for information about locating in Schuylkill County.
And it's our effort to try to create as much of an industrial base as we can, which also affects the creation then of commercial and service-related jobs.
There are 6 large industrial buildings available in Schuylkill County. This site near Frackville is one of them. A site that if a company moved in here would put Schuylkill County people to work. Bob Costantini, Newswatch 16, near Frackville.
If you want to sign up for our CPR courses, we'll have an address for you in a moment.
And our chief meteorologist, Tom Clark, will have his forecast for you, too.
Yeah. You have any leaves to rake in your yard?
Always.
Well, I've got the perfect weather to rake leaves in. And I'll be right back to tell you about it.
Come in today and save up to 40% on men's and women's name brand coats, suits, and raincoats. Duchess Factory Outlet, Route 11, Pittston. Duchess Factory Outlet.
Mommy, will the thunder make us late?
Don't worry, we'll be on time.
With the flick of a switch, American Eagle lets you shift on the fly from 2-wheel drive to the sure-footed traction of 4-wheel drive. Because sometimes security is the most important thing your car can give you.
They wouldn't have missed this for the world.
When nature makes it rain or snow, fight back. Make it Eagle.
For those of you who have not had a chance to register for our free CPR courses, there's still time left. Perhaps you could not get through to our CPR hotline before it closed. If so, you can write to the American Heart Association at 71 North Franklin Street in Wilkes-Barre. Include your name, address, the county where you live, and your telephone number. All requests must be made in writing by November 1st. The free classes in cardiopulmonary resuscitation are being offered by WNEP TV and the American Heart Association.
Next, a man who puts his heart into his forte.
Every night.
Sure does.
Every day. Out in the backyard. Tom, how is it?
Okay, the rain has stopped, and so far, since it began, I've measured 1/4 inch. And that's the most rain I've measured here in the past 2.5 weeks. Now, to help us keep track of rainfall in other areas of northeastern and central Pennsylvania, we had more than 3,000 people offer to be weather watchers for us. Now, we've selected 100 weather watchers for each of our 4 daily newscasts. And here's the 4th list of 20 names for my 11 p.m. weather watchers. And in Monroe County, Catherine Streckel from Canadenses has become a weather watcher, 6 p.m. In Montour County, from Danville, John Birkland, Todd Leby, and Richard Wapham from Danville. In Northampton County, C.R. Leambach in Bethlehem, Michael Shea, and Barry Vogt from Penn Argyl. Northumberland County, Rich and Gail Purcell from Riverside, Janice Sahutsky from Mount Carmel, and the Wolf family from Northumberland. In Pike County, Matthew Bortree from Greeley, Jane Gilpin in Greentown, and Mr. and Mrs. Fred Lake from Greeley. In Schuylkill County, Jimmy Gallagher from Pottsville, Rosemary Hauser from Ringtown, Mrs. Joseph Klein, Schuylkill Haven, Carmen Perfetta from Kelairs, Ms. Diane Popnick from Barnesville, Mr. Gerald Reed from St. Clair, and Mrs. Phyllis Timmons from Shenandoah. All of our 400 weather watchers will be receiving soon the official Weather Watch 16 thermometer rain gauge, and we want to thank everyone who wrote in and offered to help. Here's your temperature now from my backyard. It's cloudy still overhead. The reading is 62, humidity 89%, the wind south at 8, and the barometer 30.06, falling. The high here today, 62 degrees, is what we have now, 51 the low this morning, 21 the record low back in 69, 55 the high 1 year ago today. And a view along Center Street in Pottsville, Schuylkill County this afternoon. Latest radar image, as you can see, we have some showers moving out of the eastern counties of Pennsylvania, flashing to the west. A line of showers and thunderstorms just ahead of a cold front that'll be moving across the area later on tonight. Now, some of these thunderstorms will probably dissipate before reaching us, but another heavy shower, maybe a thunder shower, will move through before this night is through. Now, the latest satellite image that we have just in. Look at the clouds along the east coast here. Behind it, look at all the clear air moving in. Temperatures behind this front, not very cool at all. As you can see in the past hour, 73 in Detroit. 80 was the high in St. Louis today. They're at 78 now. And for the game tonight, plenty of moonshine overhead. Game time temperatures falling down through the 60s. Still mild up into the 60s across Wisconsin. So some delightful fall weather on the way. Sunrise time tomorrow morning will occur at 7:26. And the sun sets tomorrow evening, 6:08. Another shower, maybe a little flicker of lightning later on tonight as that cold front moves on through. The morning low, close to 50. Gorgeous tomorrow, perfect. Sunshine, some cumulus clouds, a beautiful day, 64 the high, perfect for getting out and loosening up some muscles with the rake on Saturday. Sunshine, 60 for the high, very comfortable and dry on Sunday as well. It's looking terrific.
Tom, you're making a lot of people happy right now.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Okay.
Tom.
The Sports Watch is next with Joe Zone. The question, will the World Series end tonight? Joe does not think so.
Plus, a sports star on the tennis court. Joe will serve that story next.
Okay, everybody, let's go. Group life and health insurance for Metropolitan Life? I know they're #1 in group life insurance and a leader in group health insurance, but I'm just a manager of a little dog club. Maybe my group should be covered. I have the strangest feeling I just did something right. Get met. It pays.
find something good to spread, and I'll tell you about my Earth Harvest bread. Bring your appetites. Let's do-si-do. I'm Grandpa Strowman, if you don't know. Try mine harvest of the good earth tonight. You'll taste nature's goodness in every bite. There's California raisin, mine wheat and soft rye, and 2 more in the family you ought to try. Mine buttertop white, mine wheat and bran.
They made me an Earth Harvest fan.
Double wrap to keep the freshness within. I make sure the goodness is baked in.
This could be it tonight in the series.
Yeah.
But then again, maybe not.
Just another World Series game for you, isn't it?
No, Joe, you know I love baseball.
It's a lot more than just another World Series game. I'll tell you why. If the Royals win tonight, that means that we'll have another game on Saturday night. And if there's another game on Saturday night, we'll be televising it starting at 8:30, and that, folks, means no Love Boat on Saturday night. How about that? You thought nothing good would come of this series, didn't you? Okay, Cardinals could keep the Love Boat afloat by winning tonight. That would end the series and make the Cards champs 4-1. 2 stories last night. The long ball from the Cardinals bats and that great curveball from pitcher John Tudor, who won his 2nd game of the series and put the Cards on the doorstep.
No feeling of being 1 victory away. The feeling is when it's over and you've won the 4 games. Until then, nothing is over. We haven't beat this ball club yet until we win another ball game.
We know what we have to do. If we lose, we go home as American League champions. If we can win 3 games in a row, we go home as world champions. So I would say the pressure's definitely on them, not on us.
The Royals will try to do it tonight with Danny Jackson, who lost the 1st game. The Cards will try to put it away with Bob Force. You can see it here tonight on 16. Well, you know, there's a pretty good football team at Loyal Sock this year. We've got them with their 6-1 record, ranked 6th on our Super 16. But they've also got a pretty nice tennis team at Loyal Sock. Our sports star this week, Susan Glunk, is one of the reasons why.
Talk about dominating a sport. Susan Glunk did that in the West Branch Tennis League, then stormed through the districts to a championship. Her record, 16-0 in the league, 21-0 including district play, and in her 4-year varsity career at Loyal Sock, she was 51-4.
She doesn't overpower people. What she does is keep the ball in play, and she's very, very intelligent on the court. And she tries to find a weakness and then tries to work on that weakness during the match.
Winning the West Branch for the team was my main goal this year. The individual record just sort of put icing on the cake for it.
For someone who first picked up a racket in the fall of 1982, the road to a district title was fairly easy. In fact, Susan really came close to losing only once.
In the semifinals, I played Nancy Kaufman, and I had won the 1st set, and she had won the 2nd. And last year in districts, I lost her in the quarters the same way. So going through my mind was, oh gosh, Sue, are you going to lose this one? But I pulled it through in the 3rd set and won it.
Is she right up there with some of the best that have ever come out of the West Branch?
Well, I think if you were making up a list of, say, the 10 greatest players ever, she would be one of those 10.
Susie, for being the District 4 champion in singles tennis, the WNEP TV Sports Star of the Week Award. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much.
Isn't that nice? Sports Star runners-up, Jerry Mark, Southern Columbia, Matt Michaels, Valley West, Kevin Gilpin, Tunkhannock, Larry Barrett of Lycoming College, and Kim Eulant of Pocono Mountain. I want to throw some numbers at you now. Penn State, 6 games, won them all by a total of 24 points. They've gained fewer yards, they've earned fewer first downs, they've run fewer plays, they've completed fewer passes, and they've been penalized more often than their opponents, and yet they're undefeated. Wins sure look good, but all those close games can take its toll on a football team and on a coach. Hasn't been much opportunity to rest players and work youngsters into that lineup, and it's put a lot of heat on head coach Joe Paterno.
So far, it's not bothered me physically. I came into the season, I think, a little better shape physically. I think a little better shape mentally, emotionally for this season, and so far, so good. Whether I can handle 5 more like that remains to be seen, but up to now, I've enjoyed it.
Game Saturday with West Virginia, 3:30 start. We'll have it here live on 16. That's all of it. Give tonight your best shot. See you after the World Series. I think the Royals will prevail. We'll have the Love Boat sinking.
Okay.
Oh, Joe, you know how to put things into perspective. Thanks. Have you ever painted a room in your house? Well, how about doing a ceiling that's 65 feet up?
Stay with us. We'll tell you about some artists who are working on a huge ceiling, but with some fine brushes.
This is a professional athlete. To help him convert his food to energy, he adds a multivitamin to his diet. Meet Theragran M with extra B-complex vitamins, energy releasers. Theragran M gives you this much of them, Centrum this much. Again, Theragran M, Centrum. Theragram M has more energy releasers. We know you're not a professional athlete, but we'll bet there are times when your busy life makes you feel like one. So remember the key vitamins and minerals in Theragram M with energy releasers.
Sooner or later, Buick's gonna move ya.
The classic American look of Buick. It makes your heart beat just a little faster. The 1986 Buick Regal with a new 5-liter V8. In stock at a price that will move you now.
Sooner or later, Buick's gonna move ya. Sooner or later, Buick's gonna move ya.
Finally tonight, things are finally looking up at a Wilkes-Barre church. After waiting 13 years, the faithful can see figures starting to appear on their cathedral ceiling. Newswatch 16's Mark Davis reports on the delicate art of iconography.
An emptiness is now being filled inside the dome of the Holy Resurrection Church in Wilkes-Barre. Since this church was built in 1972, something's been missing. Large painted religious figures known as icons, which usually fill the church's ceiling. The cost of the time was too much, and the church has done without. Until now. A team of artists from Pittsburgh are working 65 feet above the ground painting the icons. With that kind of distance, distortion is a real problem. Dave Corns is one of the artists using this stencil, trying to make the Christ figure look just right.
We perforate the outline, most of the major outlining on this, and just pounce a charcoal powder onto the ceiling through the paper, so it'll act like a stencil for the face. We'll only do it for the face. The garments and the main body, we can just draw that out linearly, just without any sort of a guide, just using the photographs of the drawings.
Others are done on canvas and then put in place. In time, the once plain dome will look like this, fully decorated and adorned in style, complete with a $20,000 gold layer from Germany. For Pastor Vladimir Patorik and his parish, the impossible is now possible.
They're very enthused about the project itself. I believe it's a dream also for them that's becoming a reality. And sometimes when getting into a certain age, you're waiting for this project to be completed so they could be a part of it.
Father Patorik tells me now comes the hard part, the anticipation of what this is going to look like when it's all finished. That anticipation is going to have a long time to grow because dedication of the icons isn't set until 1 year from now. Mark Davis, Newswatch 16, Wilkes-Barre.
And that is Newswatch 16 for this Thursday.
Be sure to join us tonight on The Update after the game when we'll be telling you about a new program in Scranton to protect young children.
World News Tonight is next. For the team, thanks for joining us. We'll be back after tonight's World Series game.
And as we say goodnight on this dreary Thursday, we'd like to leave you with a look at some of the bright colors that we took earlier this week when Skycam 16 flew over the Wyoming Valley Country Club in Luzerne County.
Enjoy your evening.